the exact log that I originally found shiitakes growing on the first time I saw shiitake in the wild, sometime around 2018, spring of 2018. Shiitake is one of the first mushrooms that will grow in the early spring. Like we're talking like March, we'll see shiitake grow from like southern New York to North Carolina. So it can pop out super early in the cold. And with this strain, specifically being a strain that grows in high elevation areas in western North Carolina in the springtime, we can utilize the environmental averages and temperatures and humidity around that time to be able to cultivate this. And also, again, this is a naturalized variety, so this variety will be more inclined to grow in North America. It will be highly prized, and once we get this cultivated, we'll start refining in on the genetics and making some strains that are more specific to North American farms and North American bioregions. So I think this will be a really nice Appalachian shiitake. I think that this may do well in Colorado. I think this will do well all around North America as a basis of a mushroom that found its niche here, took a foothold here, rather than all of the other shiitake that we brought in from Asia that can't figure out how to grow outside. I'm not saying that it's like here in Pennsylvania we face a different environment around mushrooms in the wild, especially naturalizing exotics. Because we already have gold oyster mushrooms, which are native to Northern Asia or Russia, growing wild here, and they're very prolific. When something grows in the environment that's not from that environment, it's definitely taking the place of something else that was there, because nature is super efficient, and every molecule is being utilized in the system. So when a new species comes in and you see it, and it's growing on a log, it's obviously growing on a log where some other fungi would have been. But when it comes to things like gold oysters and shiitake, they're growing at times of the year in abundance where we don't see any other native mushroom growing in that same prolific abundance. So it's providing not only us, but a whole host of other species with a food source. So I like to call them naturalists and utilize the word naturalizing. So we have this, and it's dry. A lot of people don't realize that you can clone from dry specimen. When I clone from dry specimen, I tend to utilize hydrogen peroxide more so than alcohol. We have ethyl alcohol in our bottles here. I'm gonna mist down this paper towel here with the ethyl alcohol. Get it nice and wet and stuck to the table. So I'm gonna make sure that this is on a mist setting. There we go. And I'm gonna grab our mushroom here and mist the outside with isopropyl, or this is not isopropyl, with ethyl alcohol. Again, just misting the outside. I don't want to saturate this by any means, because if the alcohol starts sinking in through the mushroom, you will damage the tissue that you want to clone from. So I'm going to start working fairly quickly here because it's a dry mushroom. It's going to want to absorb that alcohol. So I got some coconut water agar here. It's one of my favorite agars to use. We have pre-poured plates for cloning, especially once mushroom season starts. We always keep pre-poured plates. So that is coconut water agar, one of my favorite agars. We teach all about that at our mushroom cultivation courses. So I'm gonna go ahead and take that there. And the back incinerator is still heating. We've been getting all sorts of permitting and licensing to do next level business ventures. Why coconut water agar versus something like potato flake? Coconut water is very easily accessible to us. It's very affordable, and almost every single one of our mushrooms loves it. So it works very well. Hey, my guy. Yo. Oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man. Why is my brain farting right now? I can't remember people's names anymore. Oh man, I'm having a hard time with people's names. Been slowly learning to clone. having mixed results, but it's a great learning experience. Any opportunity for a mentorship program or anything like that? Yeah, for sure. We got all sorts of things to get engaged with. We'll be adding an education tab onto our website, mycosymbiotics.com. You can always reach out to Priyanka at mycosymbiotics.com, which I'll put her email address in before the end of the video. And we do have lots of classes on our schedule, which you can check out at mycosymbiotics.com. So I'm going to go ahead and open this guy up and break it open. Neil, that's what his name is. Neil, if you're still on here, dude, thank you for showing love and support for so many years. I really appreciate everyone that has been following me and supporting my business for years. Doing business is a tough game. I've seen a lot of people come and go, and it means the world to me that we have a community of people around the U.S. that supports the work that we're doing as we build a new way to live, a new way to interact with wealth, a new way to interact with each other. My guy, Poop Magoop, I don't want to just be calling you Poop, my G, you know what I'm saying? Like, I gotta know what your name is. Alright, so, say hello to the family for me. So I believe the back incinerator is warm enough, and we will be able to verify this if the agar sizzles for me here. Let's see if we get that sizzle. Oh, we got that sizzle. So I don't want to kill the shiitake. I want to make sure I cool down my blade. You can see the inner flesh there that hasn't been exposed to the environment. Even though this is dry, this is still alive. That's a very interesting thing with mushrooms. They're very resilient, and they have many means, many ways of propagating themselves back into an environment, not just through their spores. So dried up mushroom bodies can produce whole new bodies of fungus. So I'm going to take a piece of this dried shiitake and place that on the dish there. Now, it would be really fun to do some experiments, since I have my life ahead of me, to take some samples of different varieties of mushrooms, fleshy mushrooms, and hard body mushrooms, like hard body, you know what I'm saying? Hard body mushrooms, like Ganoderma, and dry them at low temperatures and store them in ideal conditions, and sample them like once every 5 to 10 years to see if they're still alive to clone from. I think that would be a great mycological project. I don't know if anybody's ever attempted something like this, but it would be wonderful to see just in like standard, like room temp, home temp type conditions, how long could you keep a dry mushroom alive? I am a magic loving mycologist, so I love to just throw that out there because people think it's all about science for me, but science isn't the only way of knowing. If you want to know about other ways of knowing, I would definitely recommend reading the book Native Science by Gregory Cajete, so you can understand different native or indigenous ways of knowing without science or that aren't particularly utilizing science. The reason I bring this up is because some people seem to like to discredit anything that's not in like mainstream science and all that kind of stuff. And one of the things that I value, especially when it comes to cloning dried mushrooms, is Kirlian photography. So humans only see in a very limited spectrum of all of the visible light radiation. And there are some levels of light radiation, and light is all information, we have to understand this. So there are some levels of light radiation that we cannot see. And there are ways that we can utilize different pieces of technology, different lenses, different cameras to photograph different spectrums of light. Just like we have devices to see infrared, just like we have devices to see ultraviolet, there are ways to detect light coming off of different objects or different types of radiation coming off different objects. So Kirlian photography is very popularized in a community that likes to take photos of your aura or chakras and things like this. But if you take photos of food with these cameras that are set up like this properly, you will see radiation coming off of it. And the fresher your food is, like if it's a plant and you just chop the plant, it will have more radiation than if it was dying like days later in the fridge or days later on your counter. Some foods like pumpkins will radiate good energy for a long time, and we can see that in the sense that they're still alive, you know, next spring after you harvest them in the fall, and you can still eat it. So with mushrooms, when you take a photo of a dry mushroom, it still has a lot of that light radiation coming off of it that shows that the connection to it being alive, even when it's dry. So I definitely implore you to check that out. But again, I think it would be really, really fun to research how long can, in ideal conditions, could you keep a mushroom dry and clone it alive back from it. I think it could be years, honestly. I have cloned a reishi that was at least 3 years old at this point. Alright, so I'm going to go in, I'm going to just break it one more time to get some tissue from a different area here. I'm going to go in and get one more little piece out. I'm not trying to interact with the gills particularly because I do not want spores from this. But what we will do is grow out this mycelium. And once we grow out this mycelium, I'll show you guys. I'll post it on the Instagram here, on Mycosybiotics Instagram. And we'll grow this out. We'll make this available to anybody that's interested in growing it. Also, as soon as we have it, we'll put it on liquid culture and make it available for everybody. But what we're going to do beyond that is cultivate it here, indoors and outdoors. I will collect spores, and I will follow research papers from Asia and from Europe on breeding shiitake, to breed some shiitake strains that are based on a genetic that has already figured out how to navigate and grow in the US. I think that's very special. In previous years, if anybody has been following me for any extended period of time and looked at my blogs, you may have seen that I posted a blog many years ago about wild shiitake being found in the US. So this was before I ever moved to Western North Carolina, where I had an interaction with an individual from Massachusetts who had found shiitake growing wild in Boston, and this has been confirmed on multiple accounts now. There is wild shiitake that grows in Massachusetts around Boston. And they sent me a sample of it, which I do not have. I lost most of my early cultures that I started working with around 2015 to 2019. I lost most of the cultures that I had during that time. But there are wild shiitake growing in Boston, and if anybody does find any, we would be entering into the end of that season. I would love to get those genetics into these breeding trials. So I'm just going to use 2 plates. I put 2 pieces of tissue on each of these plates, so 2 opportunities for a clone, and that's usually all I need. I'm very confident with my techniques at this point for acquiring clones and things like this. So yeah, we're gonna grow these out, get spores from them, share them with anybody that's interested, breed them, and then start working on genetics that are more inclined, particularly first off, for us here in Pennsylvania. So we do grow our shiitake outdoors. So following the same guidelines and principles that I would follow in any of my permaculture design, if I was growing plants and working on breeding out plants or passively pushing plants into more resiliency for my area, I would broadcast a bunch of seeds into my garden, let everything grow, and see what grows. I wouldn't water it, I would just let it go and see what grows. And from there, I would pick out those seeds because those are the ones that are going to be becoming the most resilient to our environment. So I can utilize these techniques by taking these shiitakes out, exposing them to our environment here in Pennsylvania, and kind of just bastardizing them, just leaving them out to the environment. Don't dunk them, don't soak them, only just let them get exposed to the rain, only just let them get exposed to the natural humidity. And what will happen is the shiitakes that do come out every time as you breed them will be the ones that are more resilient to that environment. Once you're a couple generations down the line, then that genetic that you're going to be working with, once you start treating it nice, is going to go crazy because it's mad used to your area, super used to your area. It's literally becoming a native, and you can do this very quickly with mushrooms because their life cycle goes very, very fast. So definitely implore more people to do that. That's what we're going to be doing with this. I appreciate you all for listening to me as I talk. I appreciate Meta for letting me exist on the platform for the amount of time that I've existed this time. You know, it is what it is. We're on these platforms. You know, you gotta bend to some extent. So if y'all want to hear the unedited, uncensored version, come check out one of our classes. Come to Earth Day Festival. We have our Earth Day this weekend. You know, we got MycoFest coming up in August. Lots going on always. You know, we have Earth Day Fest coming up April 22nd, 23rd. We have a cordyceps cultivation course coming up on Saturday, April 29th here in Harrisburg. And we're doing certifications with our cordyceps cultivation courses. So what this means is if you complete our in-person cordyceps cultivation course, you will be handed a physical certificate that says that you are mycosymbiotic certified to follow our standards of practice to cultivate cordyceps. So this will be recognized by us and our wholesale accounts. So we're building on our wholesale accounts. Mycosymbiotics is working to get onto shelves across the United States. So we want a band of North American wholesome domestic producers, preferably certified naturally grown, and we can walk you through that process of becoming certified naturally grown as well. And you can represent Mycosymbiotics brand. So all of our products will come with a QR code that links everybody to the actual grower that shows where those mushrooms were grown. We already have a couple people that are doing this for us. We are buying all of their cordyceps. The certificate does not expire. So if you come get this certificate with us, or if you have taken a class with us and you came into a class before we offered our certificates, we can do a consultation, get you guys certified, and we can start selling your cordyceps. I guarantee you that we can buy and move all of your cordyceps we're working on to getting into those big shelves. So definitely tap in. We have that next in-person cordyceps cultivation course coming on April 29th. Friday, May 12th, we will be doing a 3-day intensive permaculture introductory course. So if you were thinking that you may be interested in becoming a permaculture designer or taking a full 72-hour permaculture design course, we definitely recommend you take our introductory intensive course that's offered by Ngazi and Mycosymbiotics. So Ngazi is one of the organizations that actually offered me my permaculture design course when I took that back in 2014. So we're going to be offering that in Harrisburg at the Bridge Eco Village. You guys can come check out what we're doing, learn all about urban regenerative systems, learn all about building ecologically regenerative, sustainable micro industries to support your family, to support your community, so that we can stop supporting giant macro industries that are run by wealthy individuals that don't need any more of our money. And they obviously don't care about their businesses because their business pollute our environment. So it's up to us to be responsible. You know, I'm not the type of person that's going to go with a picket and a sign crying to some government that I don't even believe because they don't even work to try and fix a problem for me. I'm the type of person who's going to educate myself and go after that problem myself. And the best thing about this moment is that every single problem is an economic opportunity for an individual that is passionate about fixing that issue. So if you find an issue with something in your environment, come link up with us, see what we've engaged with. We've been involved with Borough Council, we've been involved with Business and Professionals Group. We have an extensive 10-year history of interacting with governments, working with different offices. We've worked with the Liquor Control Board, we work with Pennsylvania Department of Agriculture. We've worked through many certifications, verifications, and other organization. So definitely tap in, and we can help everybody to get more engaged with this new reality that we all are thirsty for, that beautiful reality that we all know is possible. So June 3rd, Saturday, June 3rd, we have our next Extraction Magic class. That's the journey of bioavailability. You can tap in with me, you can tap in with Justin, and get a full in-depth on how we do our extraction processes, how we make our concentrates. So this is the in-depth class. We do have an introductory class for anybody that's just interested in folk method tincture making and things like this. And again, our classes do come with certifications. We are trying to build that network of domestic growers and producers to help us take on that big industry, those culture vultures that come in and get on all those shelves with products that are hollow. We are filling this up with that good energy, with products that are backing good families, good community, and from people that are caring about this and actually passionate about the things that they're growing. So last up on our list of active events, we have MycoFest coming first weekend of August 4th through the 6th. And definitely stay tuned to mycosymbiotics.com. We have a whole bunch of stuff coming. We have pop-up dinners planned. We have film screenings planned. We haven't made too many announcements, but we have completed our first short film, which is a short film on reishi here in central Pennsylvania. So we will be doing a film screening of that before we release it live. We are in central Pennsylvania. We've been bringing the vibes so hard that everybody thought we was in California, thought we was in Oregon, thought we was in Washington, thought we was in Colorado. But no, we're in good old Appalachia, central Pennsylvania, bringing the vibes heavy, shaking the Rust Belt, revitalizing the Rust Belt. It's a great time, great opportunities. We literally got people moving out here. We're building up our business. So definitely tap in, come get engaged with our classes, check the schedule, check the events, come out to vend, come out to learn with us. Let's grow. We're gonna do PA proper. Pennsylvania is beautiful. It don't catch on fire. It doesn't flood. There's no earthquakes or nothing like that. There's no tornadoes or nothing like that. You know what I mean? We're building great economy out here, and there's a lot of opportunity to get engaged. So again, mycosymbiotics.com. Thanks for showing me love. I'll talk to you all soon. Peace.